Neighborhood Board Meeting. We're here at Momilani Community Center. It's Tuesday, May 27th. And we'll go ahead and start off with rules for speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to open up a list of participants and click their raised hand icon by their name. Those are virtual. And when recognized by the chair, address comments to the chair. Remarks should not exceed 3 minutes. Please cancel the raised hand icon after speaking. Presentations must be kept under 10 minutes. The chat box can also be used to ask simple questions. Board members are required to keep their video active during the board meeting. The board may take action on any agenda item as required by the state sunshine law. Specific issues not noted on the agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. Board actions such as draft resolutions and outgoing letters were posted on the public Google Drive. Okay, can I get everyone to please stand? We've got Cub Scout Pack 75, and with Scott Osagawa, his boys are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. United States of America, Republic, stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you very much. Scott, you got anything, any updates for us? Okay, will you guys enjoy? And hopefully I'll see you over the weekend. Okay, thank you. All right. And all participants, I hope everybody got a chance to sign in for public record. We're going to go ahead and do roll call. Hello. Hey, Cooney Agard. Not here. Rodney Awong. Yep. Charmaine Duran could not make it tonight. Guy Noy. Guy. Okay, we'll come back. Okay. Okay, Brendan Lee. Lawrence Miazano. He's not here. Dan Smith. Here. Nathan Taguchi.
Here.
Tony Velasco. Larry Vray, me. And Heidi Weber. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have quorum. Okay, next thing is board members. I'm going to try to get through this meeting quickly. Brendan's got to leave early. We're going to try to get him bumped up a little bit, but I would like to get your approval to make one slight change to agenda. I'd like to move the Navy up to after the city. So Miss Chris Tanahara can give her update, but also we want to recognize Duna Hodge for his on the occasion of his retirement. And is there any objections for doing that? Okay, seeing none. Okay, all right. So moving on to Honolulu Fire Department.
Good evening, everyone. John Paulo with the Whitehall Fire Station. I got the statistics for last month for April. There was 1 nuisance fire, 2 cooking fires, 1 activated fire alarm, no fire. Emergencies, 142 medicals, 7 motor vehicle crash collisions, 1 mountain rescue. There was a question last month, what should you do if there is a motor vehicle accident involving down power lines? As firefighter Slade stated on 4/22, stay away from the scene because it's unknown if the power lines are energized. HFD will set up isolation zones and have equipment to detect live energized lines. If HFD is not on scene, the safest thing to do is stay away. The May 2025 safety tip is for home fire sprinklers. Fire sprinklers serve as the first line of defense against fires and often extinguish fires before the fire department arrives. For more information, visit homefiresprinklers.org. And if you have any questions, please email HFD's Public Affairs and Media Liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov.
Okay, thank you for that update. And board members, any questions for HFD? Seeing none virtually, seeing none in person. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to HPD.
Okay, good evening. Lieutenant Tsai from the Pearl City Police Station.
Hello,
Let's see
Lieutenant.
the stats for the month of March. Let's see, for motor vehicle thefts, in April, we had 6. In March, we had 7. Burglaries, April, we had 7. In March, we had 6. Thefts, we had 30 in April. And in March, we had 26. UMVs, so car break-ins. In April, we had 7. In March, we had 5. So calls for service in April, we had 1,437. And in March, we had 1,478. So relatively stable. Safety tip of the month. Drink safely, don't drink and drive, especially with summer coming around, all these young adults out there taking over the world. So just be careful out there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant. Board members, any questions for HPD? All right, we'll see you none, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public testimony. If anybody has any issues they would like to bring up, now's the time to do it. Give you 3 minutes to talk about any problems, issues that you'd like to bring up to the board and also our officials that are here. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you again. In case you've forgotten who I am from the last meeting, my name is Steve, and I just want to give you a quick update to what I brought up last time about a living situation where a house on Ho'onipo Street, which sits above my home on Ho'olehua, about 15 feet above mine, where there's been just kind of revolving door folks. And we found out it was, all homeless population or former homeless or however you want to put that. And that there was several incidences where large beer cans or 2 instances where large beer cans were thrown in my yard, and then some bread, English muffins, garbage just thrown in my yard, and then on mid-April, just to show you. No understanding what my way. This bottle tossed into my yard. Now, you're 15 feet above my home. They hit my wife's head. That's going to be a problem. Or my dog's head. It's my head. That's okay. I got a hard head. But kept that for evidence. So that's what has happened. But to update you on other things, thank you, Senator Elefante, for really helping me out a bit. And city council person's office contacted me like the next day, I think, after this meeting. They told me the DPP was involved because they were in violation of having too many people. So on April 10th, DPP went back and they said, okay, they don't have 10 people anymore. Now it's down to 4, which we're supposed to be. Okay, the thing is, just so you understand, that's 4/10. That's April 10th. It was April 14th where that bottle ended in my yard. So even though they got, investigated and cleared by the DPP and city and county, were like, okay, it's good. No, it's not. And then another incident, 4/25, more bread thrown in my yard. This time, I was advised to contact police and start keeping records. Police came. They, I think, went to the property to speak to the people there, but also went to the owner to talk to the owner, who lives just like 4 houses down from that street. And then another incident mid-May, May 14th, music blaring so loud for about an hour and a half. I work in my home. I had to move to another portion of my home because it was so loud, even if I put headphones on and stuff like that. So just to let you know that though people have looked into it, there's still problems. I've written to the senator and representative of my area immediately after this meeting, the next day. In fact, I still haven't heard back. but I have talked to Nathan today, so that's going to be helpful. Real quick, what else am I going to say here? The police did tell me, as soon as they saw me and heard what I was talking about, they said, they rolled their eyes and they said, man, we go to this place so frequently. And he says, and you're right. And again, I work as a therapist. So that's why I was making the assessment that it seemed like there's, a lot of mental illness there. And they said, yeah, everyone in the home has some level of mental illness. I mean, that's what the police said to me. So it's gotten to the point where my next door neighbor finally spoke to us, and they said, she works in the backyard in the garden and stuff like that. But as soon as the people come out in the backyard, boom, she leaves her backyard and goes to the front of her house, because that's how fearful she is. And she's older than me. I'm 65, she's older than me. So that's kind of where things are at. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm available.
Steve, thank you for updating us as the issue continues. Even though the homeowner tried to mitigate the situation, it's not enough for the neighborhood. So we're going to continue to work this. And I say our board will be involved with this. And also we're privileged today. We have our councilwoman here, Val Okimoto here. So she heard you up front. So
if I may, sorry, is that you? Okay. All right. Sorry. So your office got in touch with me. So thank you. Oh, and you were the one that you emailed me too. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Sorry. I'm sorry. I should have known that, but thank you. Anyway.
yeah, so Steve, you're not the only one having these issues in Pearl City. We've got other halfway houses. I got to look into this with our board, but maybe this next term. I want to make it a requirement that every neighborhood board should be notified when a halfway house is going in the neighborhood. They're welcome to come, but they got to harmonize with the neighborhood. If they can't harmonize, we close it down.
I can understand the goodwill nature of trying to do something like that, but you do have two schools a block and a half away. I have no idea if there isn't, now that the police confirm there is mental illness, what kind? Schizophrenia, bipolar, addictions, violent history, sexual addiction? I have no idea.
Yeah, well,
That's way too many.
What's missing from this scenario is who is the oversight on the property. There needs to be an on-site manager to be able to keep them under their reins, keep them following the laws, and also respect the neighborhood. If there's nobody living on the property, I got a problem with it.
Logical supervision, safety supervision.
We'll stay in contact with you, and our councilwoman heard you very clearly. And thanks Val, for your staff for helping out with that, and also with Senator Elefante helping out, because when he was councilman, we had same issues. But the thing is, we can't get them resolved. So, but thank you. Anybody else want to bring anything up? Okay, hearing none, nothing virtual. Okay, we're going to move on. And so I've moved agenda where I've got city and county up early. And one of the reasons is Director Gene Abano is on travel right now. He's back on the East Coast. So right now it is 1:15 in the morning. And I got to commend him for anybody that comes on after midnight to participate in a board meeting to be drilled by the board. But Director Abano, welcome. And
Thank
I'll
you.
let you go ahead and give your quick update. And we had all kind of kudos for you at the town hall meeting the other day.
All right, I really appreciate that, Chair. For members, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to present the mayor's highlights. Let's see, city and state leaders recruit more guardian at Lidum to help with assisted community treatment programs for Oahu's homeless community. Mayor Blangiardi signs bills into law on Waikiki street festivals, outdoor dining rules. Recreational fishing returns to the road famous Ho'omalu Botanical Garden. City leaders unveil a massive new solar canopy at the Blaisdell Center to celebrate Earth Day in Honolulu. And lastly, details on the first Malama Aina Day at Kahuku Point on Oahu's North Shore. You can get further details at the newsletter in the back of the table as well as online. DPR also wanted to announce that Summer Fun is going to start. There's registration beginning May 12th to May 16th. There are also enrichment class signups from May 15th to the 19th based on where your program is located. Enrollment in Summer Fun and enrichment classes will be primarily conducted online through the activities section of the Parks and Recreation online systems though walk-in accommodations are also available. Let's see, 2025 Summer Fun sites. Which ones are offering Summer Plus are indicated in the interactive Summer Fun map online. If a keiki is looking for a part-time job, there are potential jobs for kids that have positive and empowering aspirations, and they can also apply online. With that, I will follow up with now any of the questions that were from last month. Member Wong requested for signage indicating that the road on Waimanalo Home Road near the Our Lady of Good Counsel veers to the left. DTS will conduct an investigation and inform the board of their findings upon completion of their study. Member Awang requested to have rumble strips on Komomai Drive near the Children's House. DTS conducted a study which included a review of the area's traffic collision history along Komomai Drive in the area between Waimanalo Home Road and Aomanu Street. Their study finds several crashes along Komomai Drive at the curve northwest of the Children's House prior to the uphill rise. As such, DTS recommends that DDC install milled rumble strips along the turn under a future repaving project. In the interim, a work order has been issued to DFM to replace several chevron alignment warning signs to provide guidance to motorists traversing the curve. Let's see, there was a footpath indication lines. Member Weber wanted an update on the request. Let's see, DFM has requested DTS to review the request for footpath indication lines. If appropriate, a work order will be issued to DFM to reline those footpaths. With that, I turn it over to the board for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Director. Board members, any questions for Director Albano? Dan?
Yes, I wonder, Director Urbano, have you reviewed my proposal for changing the traffic lights at Komomai and Waimano Home Road?
Yes, member, I did receive that. We are collaborating with DTS to see what can be done with your recommendation. And I will certainly give you an update. We will formally provide a response once DTS has gotten back to us.
Okay, there are several intersections around the area that have that. I'm going to put up a slide later, or I guess we can put it up now, see what we're talking about. But there are several intersections around Pearl City that have a similar approach. Basically, it's one direction at a time. You open it up full blast. Maybe go to the last slide there. Basically, and for example, it's done at Waimano Home Road and Moanalua Road. basically you have one direction at a time. So there's no, when you're, for example, coming out of Palisades, you don't have to worry about hesitating because going on my westbound, you can't see the traffic. You got, if you know that it's going to be blocked off, you just, go at the kind of maximum safe speed through the intersection. And for southbound traffic after school at Pearl City High School, there's no reason why this center lane would have to be left turn only. Could go all the way through. That would help build up the help relieve the afternoon buildup of traffic on Mackay or southbound on Waimano Home Road. Thank you. So Gene, we look forward to the kind of analysis. I think it's pretty easy to implement, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, Director Albano.
Appreciate that. Obviously, DFM does not take the lead with regards to traffic control adjustments, but however, I will take it up with Director Morton to see if they can make this assessment done quickly, and I will try to get back to you and the neighborhood board as soon as I get information.
Yeah, Director Albano, if needed, Dan and I can come down to your office location there to meet with some of your staff members there to collaborate so they totally understand what Dan has proposed and the board, because we've been talking about this for such a long time. We appreciate you taking this thing on and working it.
Well, again, that will be more of a DTS decision, and if it's a decision that they concur with, we will certainly see who would then restripe it accordingly, redo the traffic controls, and then go from there. But I will do my best to represent this board to see if we can make these changes.
Larry,
Okay,
one
go ahead.
final comment. This is, we had first proposed, left turn signals on Komomai, but this is simpler to implement, and I think it's a great solution. There's no, if there are more school buses, that would help. That's a different problem. So a council member can help lobby for this also. Thank you.
Yeah, Dan, I'll contact Kelly Hakasaki too to see if she wants
Right.
it.
Kelly
Okay,
is
board
key,
members,
and I will certainly get a hold of Kelly as well.
Hey, board members, any questions for our director? Virtual, any questions? Hey, seeing none? All right. Director Albano, sleep well. And
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Have a
And
good
above
meeting.
and beyond the
Rest of
call
your
of
meeting.
duty, 1:20 in the morning. Thank you.
No worries. Anytime for you guys. Have a good
Okay.
rest of your meeting.
All right, moving on. Our council member, Val Okimoto. Welcome. It's nice to have you at the top of the list, huh?
I was going to say, I'm in support of having this be a steady or a constant for a,
I'm keeping you and Director Albano in lockstep.
I like that. Thank you, Director Albano. So whether he's on the East Coast or not, I support us being at the top of the agenda, Chair. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. I'm here in person and on Zoom, and members of the community. My name is Councilmember Valentino Okimoto, and happy to be here this evening. I do have my written report that was delivered to you or handed out to you, and I will stand on that. I have a couple of updates, but with your indulgence, Chair, after I give my brief legislative update, I would like to just have a little presentation to mahalo those on the board who have served and those who will stay, but also those who will be moving on. So again, you have my written report before you. We are ending our budget hearings, and we will have to pass. We meet next week on June 4th. That's our full council meeting. We do have to have our budget passed by June 15th. That's our deadline. Aside from that, just a few CIP and some budget issues that I wanted to cover. the Honolulu City Council, we are again reviewing the fiscal year 2026 budget, a $5.14 billion dollar package that prioritizes infrastructure, housing, and public safety, including 657 million, roughly about 70% of the city budget to go to public safety, including HPD, HFD, HESD, and ocean safety. I've also requested over $5 million in capital improvement projects for the district, such as traffic safety improvements through Pearl City, also including Waipahu and Mililani, which is part of our District 8. I want to, first of all, before I continue, congratulate the graduates of 2025. I was able to participate, join in with the graduates with their commencement ceremonies. I think it was a couple of weeks ago at the Hawaii Convention Center, and the high school does a really great job. Thankful for Principal Hoffman and always including us, and congratulations again to the graduates, both here, but also island-wide, statewide. That being said, I will take questions, but if it's okay, Chair, I would like to just have a few Mahalo presentations. Is that okay to do it at this time?
Can we just do the questions first and then,
Sure.
and I want to come up with you because I'll
Okay.
be mine simultaneously with you.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, any questions for Councilwoman? Okay, seeing none. One thing I
Well,
wanted to bring, go ahead, Dan.
Very briefly, could our secretary put up my slide for the Palisades Park? Just a note there, it said a lot of, I noticed some, community involvement cleaning up Palisades Park near the elementary school. So that was a good sign. And then, okay, go ahead, the outfield. I mentioned it last time, but that rock wall in the back, it needs some masonry work before it falls down. And I've been helping also digging up those big grass. Maybe go to the next slide. Anyway, you can see that it really helps to, this time, 5 years ago, I cut them all down, but I didn't dig them out by the roots. This time, I'm digging them out by the roots, but, and other people, not just me, but some other people have been helping also. So once we get it clear, we're going to hope it gets mowed and.
Member Smith, are these specific areas and policies that you can email to my office so we can have monitored? It's
The
a
school,
school.
the park, yeah, next to the school.
So it's a community park next to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
school.
yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for all of your efforts and the community members who have been working hard and diligently to take care of the property. If you could email my office once again, I want to make sure that it's the city property versus, if it's a community park, it'll be the city property. And we will continue, we can communicate with our parks department. If you've been doing this for years, and oh my gosh, I apologize that you've had to put in the labor, but thank you. I think you're a great example of, throwing your blood, sweat, and tears into keeping the community. That's a positive attitude. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for our Councilwoman? Seeing none, okay, we're going to recognition.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Board Member Brendan Lee, could you please come up?
Where would you like? Okay. But I did actually. Okay. Okay. I won't bite, I promise. Oh, yeah. Yes, I think it. Well, I want to thank you. I know that I get to see you when I come, probably quarterly, if not more often when I'm able to. But I know that you guys are volunteers, and I know that you come here on weeknights. And I just wanted to thank you on just behalf of my office, but District 8, for all of the things that you've done to contribute to the community. And I know that I've appreciated the discussion that you've provided, the insights, the questions. So on behalf of the Honolulu City Council, we just wanted to present this certificate of recognition, but also appreciation for your service on the neighborhood board. And we have signed it today, and hopefully you can keep this in a safe space and remember how much you are appreciated. But thank you very much. Thank you. Is it okay if I get that picture? Here, I have something else. So can we get a picture after you're done with yours? Oh, we'll do it.
She wants to do her
Okay.
official poems.
Chair, you want to be in it? Oh. Okay. That's good. Okay. Chair, I do have the others for Member Miyazano, who is not here, and also Member Agard, who is not here. If I could give to you to give to them. And I did kind of get off script. I took the liberty today because I wanted to thank all of you. I know that Member Lee is now his term has expired, but I wanted to thank him. But I want to thank all of you as this year ends. So just mahalo for the rest of the board, because I am grateful for all of the efforts that you guys provide. And I know Chair Vere is always on the phone with me in my office, and I appreciate that, as well as Member Velasco. Okay, so I have you, Chair. And if I could get a group picture at the end. So Chair Vere, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Is Rodney here? Oh yeah, Rodney. Okay, Rodney, Chair, Member Awang. I know Vice Chair Duran is usually on Zoom, so I'll hand this. Okay, I'll hand that to you. Member Guy Inoy, he's online as well. Okay. I Member Smith, I have yours here. Member Nathan Takeuchi, usually online. Okay, and it's okay if I get a group picture after. Member Velasco, Tony. And finally, Member Weaver. Hi, thank you, Heidi. Again, I want to thank you guys. I know what you guys do is voluntary and often thankless, so we appreciate Pearl City and the efforts that the neighborhood board does for our communities. So where should I?
Right in the middle. Yeah. Right. Thank you so much. Right, you take care of it. Got P.A. Guard and Junior Miyazano, and also Brendan Lee, three of our board members here who will be, oh, I'm so used to talking to. Yeah, so we have three of our board members that will be leaving for this term. And this course, we're going to be in recess next month. This is our last meeting, completing a 2-year term. And we'll start all over again in July. We've got 3 other new board members that will be coming on to replace them. But this last 2 years have been really challenging. But at the same time, I'm very proud of this board. You know, I got to put them in a cohesive category because there's no infighting. We all work together. It's a common good because we want to take care of our community, we want to take care of our residents, and we want to improve the quality of life for all of us. And I don't have Cooney's not here today and Junior, but Brendan is here. And Brendan, I got to say, very proud of you and also all your past accomplishments are very well respected in the community and especially for Hawaiians. My heart goes out to all Hawaiians. But Brendan, I want to thank you. You were on the DPZ committee for development, planning, and zoning. But most importantly, all our board members, we pushed out so many resolutions, and I can't thank our senators or representatives for taking those resolutions, and especially our legislative priorities, handpicking them, and his days are numbered. I'm telling you, me and Chief Logan can be talking. But Brendan, I can't thank you enough for what you contributed. And I wish you the best. And I hope that you come to our board meetings occasionally and keep us straight. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Chair.
much. Tony, can you take a photo? You do it on yours and send it to me. Right. Take care. Seth?
No, one more for Councilwoman. Yeah. Yeah, question or just a statement.
Councilmember Okimoto, one more question that just popped up from the board. I'll make this exception.
I think,
You'll
Mr.
toss you your certificate.
Okay. You know, Frank Foster used to have a thick stack underneath his chair in his van. And every party he went to, he whipped out one. Anyway, Guy, I think this one will be of interest to you. The crosswalk by Manana Field. As I was going to Honolulu Road the other day, a couple of folks, traffic was waiting to come up through the light, and a couple of folks were progressing their way through the crosswalk. So I seen them. I slowed down. And it's a good thing that the fella behind me also noted that I was slowing down, because there was another fella that just zoomed right by them. With about 2 feet more, if they would have stuck their head out, he would have took them off with their mirror. So I think we got to address that one, whether or not you folks are going to take away that crosswalk over there.
This is where specifically, sorry, member?
It's right on Honolulu Road and Waimana Home Road,
You said by Banana or,
Manana Park.
okay.
It,
Banana
it
Park, okay.
connects the, one side of the road.
Waimana Home Road and Moana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On
Okay.
the lower side of Mauna Loa.
There is a marked crosswalk, but it's,
Oh, yeah, there is.
okay.
And then
Actually,
there
it's
was
on,
one more before.
It's on Nanakai Street.
Yeah.
It's Nanakai and Waimana Home Road.
I knew this would get you.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it's only
I
been
mean-
about 5 years, so.
Yeah, firsthand. I mean, it was kind of touch and go, because the guy in front of me was blowing.
Okay.
And,
And you said this has been a problem for
Oh, yeah.
5 years, you said? Okay.
A guy said 5
Or
years,
more. Okay.
but there was also another crosswalk that was taken away. And it was about 100 yards down where the parking lot goes into the skate park at Banana Field. So,
Banana, sorry. I have a hard time hearing with the.
yeah,
I apologize.
at Banana Park.
Okay.
So.
So there's
um,
multiple
there
crosswalks
was
by Banana
two
Park.
before, they took away the lower one.
Okay.
So if you take away the upper one where, there's going to be an accident one day. I
And if they're
guarantee.
both taken away, then where can the-
Actually, I would
pedestrians-
reinstitute the other one down below by the
Okay.
parking lot.
you think that one,
That one would be better because it's out of the head of the traffic.
okay,
So they were like about maybe 6 deep on that one. And on that particular time, it's 4 lanes, 3
Okay.
going up, 1 turning. So,
I'll have my office put in a request. So Nanakai, Waimana Home Road,
yeah.
is that what he said? Okay. And there was 2, but now there's 1, and you're thinking, put back the lower one.
Put
I
back
just
the
wanna
lower
make sure that
one,
we don't
take away the top
Have
one.
people then running across where the crosswalk they're used to. And
Yeah, well, these folks were walking. If they're running, I'm pretty sure we would have had a casualty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me know.
yeah, it was kind of rugged because these guys are blowing down down that road. When they come across the streets, the street lights.
Glad everyone was okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to, I'll message my team now, but do you want to send an email? Usually when it comes from you guys, it helps us to keep track. And that way we remember, okay, which member was the one who asked.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Rodney,
that
put
okay?
an email together for her, so That way she can give it to her staff.
Take care of it.
That would be really helpful. Thank you.
All right.
All right, any other
Chair.
questions for our councilwoman?
Yeah, Chair.
Good guy.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my, let's see, the icon to raise the hand, so unfortunately, I just gotta jump in like this. Actually, Councilwoman, Okimoto, it's been slated to be taken off already. I'm not sure what time frame, but it's on the, books for the city to remove that crosswalk.
Okay,
Um,
and the board's suggestion is to put back the lower one? Is that?
No,
What if you
actually,
got
what's
something
in the
for
works
removing
is
it?
that they're gonna put a crosswalk on, Moanalua and, Waimana Home Road instead. And they're
Okay,
gonna, coordinate the traffic lights as such. Right now, the crosswalk was removed below because that whole thoroughfare is actually 35 miles an hour, yeah. So it's quite a hefty speed to have a crosswalk
Mhm.
actually. Even at 30 miles an hour, it's pretty treacherous, knowing that nobody goes 30, right? So, and especially it's all downhill. It's a
Okay.
slight incline downhill like that. So if you put the crosswalk back again, a couple blocks down, I mean, you're gonna get a massive lawsuit if there's any kind of situation because it took it
Okay.
away once. You're gonna put it back? I don't think so.
do you recall
Um,
when it was removed? I know you mentioned it, remember? a while
Several
ago.
years ago. I think it was before
Okay.
COVID. Before
Yeah, we had,
COVID.
Okay,
we had a young lady hit at that intersection. That's why they took it away.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
text my team right now, but remember how long,
Yeah.
if you could just have
the-
you and Chair send an email, so,
Yeah, so
We
the
can have
complete streets, as they
specific-
give us another update, that'll be part of it, but here
oh,
we,
yes.
it's just, guys been bringing this up for the last 3-4 years and it
Uh,
is
no,
unsafe.
It's more like 5 to 7 because it's part of Smart Streets.
All right.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
So, any
Thank you
other
for being the eyes
questions?
and
We
ears
gotta
for
move
us,
on.
honestly, I appreciate that.
Okay, these guys will get you the
Okay,
email,
Thank you,
but thank
Chair.
you so much for taking time for us tonight. And we're going to move on to the Navy.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Ms. Chris Tanahara, welcome.
I sent in my report, so I will just go over some of the highlights. First off, monthly ship tours. We will be having tours or hosting tours of the USS Frank Peterson on June 14th and the 28th. So if anyone is interested, please let me know. We will also be hosting our community white boat tour of Pearl Harbor, and that date is set for July 25th. So again, monthly ship tours, June 14th and 28th, and the community white tour on July 25th. I did also want to mention that we sent out a press release about 2 weeks ago announcing the continuation of preservation efforts of the USS Arizona Memorial. So Navy divers over the last couple of weeks have been installing mooring anchors and buoys around the USS Arizona, and this is in preparation for some work that's going to be done later on this year involving the removal of mooring platforms, 2 mooring platforms that were actually installed shortly after the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. So the platforms are showing their age, and the Navy wants to remove them carefully and diligently and not harm either the memorial or the environment. And I think that was it. Oh, the last thing is I sent some information to Chair Veray a couple weeks ago, or I'm sorry, last month, and this was in response to Board Member Awong's question about overgrowth along Halava Stream. So we think we have identified the location. I did check with our NAFAC folks, and unfortunately, that is the city's responsibilities to take care of the overgrowth. So Rodney, I wasn't sure if you had any questions about that, or if this was the correct area where the overgrowth is.
Yeah, it is. In fact, went by there just yesterday. Nice little tree growing in there in the lava stream. But it's funny you should say that because according to my mom, who pays the flood insurance. She says it was done by some Navy commander or that they have to pay to. So it was kind of like contradictory. So, but when I see Gene again, I'll bring it up to him. Actually, I was gonna probably invade the IAN neighborhood board and give them a suggestion. So, but I appreciate it.
Okay, I will, question, Rodney, you said your mother paid a commander, or was that part of a fee, or?
It's part of the fee that it's a $2,000 flood insurance coverage that they send to all the residents along the stream. So I'll go check with her again and I'll get back with you. I'll send you an email.
Okay,
Yeah. And then,
yeah,
because she's
that
been
would, that
paying
would,
this rascal all these years. And all we see is
Hmm.
mangroves. And then, the last time I went by, there was a nice tree growing in the middle of the stream. So I'm going to talk to Gene about this.
Okay, yes, if you could please keep me posted, so we can get this resolved. Pending any questions, I'm going to turn it over to Joanna Delphin. Joanna is part of Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill, and she'll be providing the Navy closure update.
Thank you, Chris, for the great update, and welcome, Joanne.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Chris, for that. So just a couple of things for Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill. We hosted our quarterly open house last week, Wednesday, at the Hokulani Community Center. We will continue to host these open houses on a quarterly basis. Right now, we're tentatively scheduled to host the next one in August. We will share more information regarding the location and the time with the board as we get closer to that. For those who are looking for the latest updates regarding the closure of the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility, Navy Closure Task Force has a weekly newsletter that we push out called Red Hill Highlights. It's posted every Tuesday on our website as well as our mobile app. So if you don't have that app on your phone, feel free to search NCTF-RH in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them from the group.
Okay, well, thank you for that update. Board members, any questions for the Navy? Okay, see it done virtually or in person. I want to thank both of you for the updates, and we're going to move on now for our recognition for Mr. David Duna Hodge. You can meet me up at the microphone. Well, Duna, we did this a couple months ago. Mr. Victor Flint, took that early out for retirement, and now you're doing the same thing. And I'll tell you, we're going to miss the both of you. I mean, you always made the meetings, and most of all, what you contributed in your positions and giving us those updates. So, on behalf of the Neighborhood Commission Office and the Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21, on the occasion of your retirement, we hereby present the certificate of recognition to Mr. David Duna Hodge, Public Affairs Specialist, Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill, Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam, Hawaii, for your dedicated leadership, communication skills, and numerous interactions with the Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21 at our monthly board meetings. During and after historic Red Hill fuel spill, Pearl Harbor disaster, you specifically kept our board updated on the fuel spill cleanup actions and shut down the facility. Your truly outstanding leadership and can-do attitude motivated many sailors, government civilians, as they integrated themselves with the community members, cleaning up tons of trash that posed a public safety issue along the historic Pearl Harbor bike path. Furthermore, you helped coordinate Special Admiral's barge tours for our board members to visit the USS Arizona Memorial and tour around Ford Island. With heartfelt thanks, we thank you for your dedication to the community of Pearl City, but participating in our board meetings for the past decade. We wish you the best on your retirement from federal government civil service. Mahalo nui loa. Okay, anything want to say a few minutes?
No, just to thank
Okay,
everybody.
Tony?
Just trying to look handsome with you. So tough. All right.
One more picture. Come on up.
Come on,
Did you get it? Okay, hold on. Did you get it?
Oh. Gotta unlock my own picture.
Take another photo. Nope. Victor, get in here. One more photo. With the two of them.
Tying up your business. I plan to come back and visit her, at least, hopefully do some public.
All right. Shot. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Hodge, I have one more question for you before, with all your expertise and wisdom. Is the inside of the tanks being coated with any protective coating as they empty them out? Reason being is because normally it's like a water tanker. When you take out the water from the tanker, it starts to oxidize. When you leave the water in there, it doesn't. So will these tanks be coated with a certain coating?
I'm not sure. I know that's a good question. And what I'll do is I'll try to ask and try to get you back, but strictly unofficially, I know that we have the Joanna, can correct me, Joanna's right there, but I know that they have a wipe test. That is wiped with cloth to make sure that all the cleaning and all the solvents off of it. So we'll make sure Joanna gets you a good answer.
I have to give you one before you go.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for all your friendship and your aloha. I appreciated being a part of your team. Look forward to any way I can help you or any volunteer projects. Keep me in line. Come out. I need to stay skinnier. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to keep this moving along. We got some more recognition here for our board members. Rodney, you want to come on up? Of course, Rodney's been instrumental over the years. I got a certificate from the Neighborhood Commission and our Pearl City Neighborhood Board for your past 2 years, specifically for your support for the Traffic and Transportation and Public Safety Committees. You've provided valued information to public safety. So I'll go ahead and hand that to you. I'm not reading all this so we can expedite going through. Hey, go take a picture. Certificate. Heidi. Okay, Dan Smith. First Dan the last 2 years as well. Dan, for the past 2 years, you were a member of the Health, Education, Welfare, and Traffic Transportation Committee, and even with Parks and Recreation, helping out Tony as well. But I want to thank you so much. This is your certificate for your last 2 years, and we look forward to the next 2 years. Yep. Oh, yes. Dan. Right. Nate, we'll have to catch you another time. But Nate Taguchi, he's been with us for the last 2 years as well. And I thank Nate for sticking with the board. We've got some great days ahead, but you were a member of the Park and Recreation Committee underneath Tony Velasco. But thank you so much. Okay, Heidi, come on up. Of course, Heidi as well, she's only been with the board for 6 months, but specifically, you have supported the the Parks and Recreation Committees, the Health, Education, Welfare, Traffic and Transportation. And you're definitely on your way with your first engagements that made a big difference. And we're going to talk about a couple of resolutions that she was heavily involved with. But I want to thank you so much. And again, thank you for staying with our board. And I see you as our future leader down the road. Thank you. Hey, Guy, I also got yours here. I want to thank you, Guy, also the Traffic Transportation Committee. And also, most importantly, Guy has represented us at the Pearl Harbor Restoration Advisory Board meetings, keeping us updated. Of course, with the RAB, the Restoration Advisory Board, the Navy is cleaning up areas from World War II period where a lot of lead and other hazardous materials have been underground, and the Navy's been slowly fixing all those areas. So again, Guy staying with us, and thank you, Guy. Guy's been our treasurer as well, even though we don't have any money from the NCO, but he's got that position, part of the executive committee. Okay, Tony Belasco, treasurer. Our secretary. So Tony as well. Tony has been a key member of the recognition committee for a lot of our certificates, also for Parks and Recreation Committee. And of course, those Tony works for the city. He's the number 2 IT guy. And if anybody has anything, they're gonna get it from him. And while you're up here, I'm gonna do one thing. Stay right. And Tony usually comes in virtual because, he's got long days and we understand that. But back in March was Volunteer of the Month Day, where everybody around the city, including the mayor, was recognizing people for their contributions to the community. But Tony, I have a plaque here for you. And this plaque says, on behalf of the Pearl City Neighborhood Board and Neighborhood Commission, Pearl City Volunteer of the Year Award, March 25. We hereby present a certificate of recognition to Mr. Tony Belasco as being recognized by the Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21 as our Volunteer of the Year for Pearl City. As board secretary, committee chair for Recreation and Park Recreation Committees, that past decade you provided creative, innovative, resourceful inputs to board meetings. Over the past year, you volunteered and provided your unique individual leadership, management, and communication skills, donating volunteer time to the Pearl City Lions Club, the Pearl City Community Association, the Friends for Pearl City Library, Pearl City High School PTSA. And with heartfelt thanks, Tony, we thank you for your past years of leadership and service. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you. Okay, and lastly, regretfully, our vice chair, Charmaine Doran, could not be here. And I got to tell you, we're very privileged to have her on our board. She worked in the city for years, worked in OYB, and has an enormous amount of experience. And she has really helped me as the chair, keeping me straight, keeping me following the sunshine law. And the other thing is to continue to move forward together in lockstep. Let me tell you, what I say in here, she couldn't do by herself. The whole board was all involved with it. And for Charmaine Duran, we hereby present the certificate of recognition to Madam Vice Chair Charmaine Duran for this past 2-year board term because of your truly superior leadership, management, and advice you provided to the chairman and the board while serving as Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21. Specifically, you served as chairperson for the Legislative and Capital Improvements Program Committee, where you produced numerous board resolutions that were passed to our lawmakers, and many of those resolutions adopted into bills. Importantly, you produced very impacting board legislative priorities for 2023 and 2025 that stimulated our lawmakers working our board requirements to improve health, safety, and the quality of life for our residents of Pearl City. You were instrumental in drafting requirements for the Pacific Palisades Emergency Egress Road and siren repair, to include reaching out to the public, recruiting several residents to volunteer to adopt our parks. Furthermore, You provided accurate technical inputs to several outgoing official letters to our congressional representatives, state legislators, city council, and the mayor's office. With heartfelt thanks, we thank you and your leadership and service for Pearl City residents. Mahalo nui loa. So, and we'll present this to her at a later date. But again, all these accomplishments were done as a board as a whole, helping her get these things through. We had over 25 resolutions for this last 2 years. So let me get back into my chair. Thank you. Okay, as we move on, we're done with recognition. Last week, we had a meeting with the Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation, and our board has 10 initiatives that we had briefed the Deputy Ted Hayden. The first one was an update on the Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21 legislative priorities, which our Vice Chair had authored. Status of Mananakai Park, our restroom repairs of public access. We briefed that. Proposal to develop an agreement with the U.S. Navy for access to Pearl City Peninsula, the former fuel farm tank area, to support building sport ball fields for our keiki. The fourth item was proposal to develop an agreement with the U.S. Navy for access to Pearl Harbor for a restricted water recreation area off Neil Blaisdell Park. Also, a proposal to build a dog park at Neil Blaisdell Park. We're moving forward with that. I'll be contacting Director Thalen here shortly. I've reached out to the Pearl City High School architecture. We're going to have them design the dog park for Pearl City. We'll have for large dogs, small dogs, and we get done, it will be the dog park that everybody wants to go to because we'll be doing dog shows there as well. Update on the Japanese Peace Bell, the Lions Club, in partnership with our retirees. We renovated the Japanese Peace Bell at Neil Blaisdell Park, correcting all the termite damage, and it really looks nice now. A proposal to develop a plan to adopt Pearl City neighborhood parks. Our vice chair, she's got most of our parks right now are adopted with individuals or organizations, so we'd be moving ahead on that. Also, it briefed us that we were talking about the status of Ranger pilot program for our parks for enforcement, and a proposal to explore city-state partnership to develop education, swim programs, employing city swimming pools. And one of the things I wanted to mention, we really need lifeguards. And if you have 16-year and above child, and they are teenager, and they got lifeguard skills, the city could use them. It's $19 an hour starting. That's pretty good compared to when I'd had a paper route when I was a kid. Proposal is to explore the city and state partnership to develop education swim programs. We got Heidi Weber here was responsible for really pushing this issue. So, and she'll talk more about it here shortly, and the status of implementing the IA Pearl City Livable Communities Plan. So moving forward, we're going to move on to our first resolution. Board members, you all got a chance to see it. The community was posted on our Google page. And Board Member Weber, could you go ahead and present the resolution?
Thank you. All right, so the first resolution is supporting the recommendations of the Hawaii Injury Prevention Plan 2023 and the Hawaii Water Safety Plan to prevent drownings in the state of Hawaii. Whereas drowning is one of the leading causes of death among Hawaii's children, residents, and visitors, and there is an Exhibit A attached with those data points. Whereas in 2024, the Hawaii State Legislature adopted SB 2841 CD1, designating May 15th of each year as Water Safety Day, and declaring that it is critically important to increase public awareness and water safety to prevent drowning incidents throughout the state. And whereas the Department of Health and the Hawaii Water Safety Coalition have put forth a multitude of worthwhile plan recommendations to expand water safety and aquatic education, therefore be it resolved that the board requests the city and county of Honolulu to work to achieve at a minimum the following: resolution encouraging and supporting a partnership between the city and state for the use of city pools by Department of Education for swimming programs, increasing public pool access during the weekend and evenings, expanding and incentivizing the junior lifeguard and lifeguard programs, working with the Youth Commission to prioritize and advocate for drowning prevention on Oahu. Be it further resolved that the board supports the findings and recommendations of the Hawaii Injury Prevention Plan and the Hawaii Water Safety Plan, and the inclusion of this resolution as a future legislative priority. And be it finally resolved that copies of this resolution will be forwarded to all of the appropriate officials. This resolution was written by Charmaine Duran, and I think it's very timely. I've been.
Sole discussion. Do you have a motion to approve? Rodney? Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have discussion? Board member Weber, go ahead.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in on this again. It's really important to me to see us move forward on this. Drowning is the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to 15 in Hawaii. And Hawaii is second in the nation for drowning. Alaska's first. We're an island community and we're surrounded by water. The kids are, they get into trouble and they don't know how to self-rescue. They say that less than 2% of our second graders would be able to self-rescue or prevent themselves from drowning. So I just, I feel very strongly about this, and I've been working with Pearl City Highlands Elementary principal and the complex area supervisor to try and get a program into that school that hopefully we can expand to other schools. And I just think this resolution will really highlight what we're trying to do and bring awareness to the greater community so that we can get the support of the entire island to go ahead and get this this type of a program installed in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi, and I commend you for taking this issue, a very important issue on, and also working with our Vice Chair, Charmaine, because this is very detailed, and I know our legislators and the City Council will definitely accept this. So can we call for the vote?
One more, Larry. So, yeah, I agree totally with her. As I use the route past the Pearl City District Park Pool, and at one time they had a kupuna program over there where they would come in the morning and exercise. But because of the lack of lifeguards, they no longer have that program. My only inquiry, maybe Tony can help us out with this, is that the Pearl City High School Swimming Club, do they have any junior lifeguards in their ranks? Like you said, $19 an hour, that's nothing to sneeze at. You know, and I would like to see if there are junior lifeguards in our area, if they would be willing to come to work and, you know, make this program. And definitely, I would like to see more emphasis from the schools in a swimming program versus, you know, other field sports, because we are a water island over here. We are a water sports place. So yes, I do agree with this.
Okay. When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Ronnie A. Wong? Jai Noi?
Yes.
Okay. Heidi Weber? Okay. Dan Smith? Okay. Nathan Takeuchi?
Yes.
Okay. Tony Velasco? Yes. And Larry Vray?
Yes.
That's 7 yes. This resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. Okay, our second resolution, moving on. Tony, can you please present it?
It's encouraging Pearl City Complex schools to complete safe routes to school plans. Whereas the Safe Routes to School program created by Congress in 2005 is aimed at increasing the number of children engage in active transportation when traveling to school. One, infrastructure projects located within 2 miles of the public school there that directly increase safety and convenience for public school children. And number two, implementing non-infrastructure projects designed to encourage public school children to walk and bicycle to school. And whereas since its establishment, communities throughout the nations have excessively developed SRTS plans and increased public safety by implementing projects such as the following: redesign of pickup and drop-off procedures to increase safety and access, increasing bus transportation, teach pedestrians and bicycle safety skills to children and parents, installation of bicycle parking and bike lanes near school, crossing guard training and recruitment program, install traffic ceiling measures, audit of existing crosswalks and additional crosswalks where needed, construct, replace, or repair sidewalks, construct school traffic lanes, adopt school traffic procedures and install signage, install lighting crossing and traffic signals on streets surrounding schools, utilizing speed feedback trailers, park and walk programs, and adopt school traffic management and school zones. Be resolved that the Pro City Neighborhood Board encourage any Pro City school without a SRT plan to actively work to complete such. And be it further resolved because consolidation of lost federal fundings and the tremendous workloads of teachers and school administrators, members of this board have volunteered to actively support the planning and drafting process for any Pro City school desiring to develop a SRTS plan, and be it finally resolved that copies of the resolution be forwarded to schools in the Pro City complex, Governor, Department of Transportation, Safe Routes to School Coordinator, and the Department of Transportation Services, Safe Routes to School Coordinator, the Department of Education, and the Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tony,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
do we have a second? Heidi? Second? Okay, up for discussion. And again, Heidi, thank you, because with the emphasis that you brought up for the school routes, walking up to Pearl City High School with the dangers that were there and the things that Director Albano has definitely taken on board to try to help out. And this actually works out for all our schools to bring it in. But thank you and Charmaine for putting this thing together. Any other?
Yes, this is a very good resolution. Once again, I take the route on Ho'omai, going down towards the Pro City District Park and Highlands. Also too, on my way home, I take the Noelani route, going up to Waimano Home Road. And it's kind of spooky that these two schools are bordered by two streets. And like I said before in time, there is Old Pro City and there is New Pro City. New Pro City is the one with sidewalks, such as this community right in where we're here tonight. Old Pro City is where I live. And there is a 5-foot easement, or what was told to us, an unimproved sidewalk. My suggestion would be, because a lot of the kids have walked on these ones, it may upset a few residents, but if we can put in bike lanes for bicyclists, there might be some meat in putting some walking lanes for students, because whether or not they walk on the grass or, they're impeded by people parking on the grass and stuff, it's needed so that they can somewhat feel safe walking in a lane that was made especially for them.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none virtual, call for the vote.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Kekuni Agard. Rodney Awang. Okay, Kayanoi.
Yes.
Heidi Weber. Okay. Daniel Smith, Nathan Takauchi,
Yes.
Tony Velasco, and Larry Bray. Yes. Okay, that's 7. This is also adopted.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to, let's see where we at here. Okay, moving on to our, thanks again there, Dan, for your proposal there for the routes or the traffic improvements for Komomai Drive. Okay, moving on, government monthly reports. Governor Green's office, we've got Mr. Jeff Hickman here. Welcome, Jeff. And thank you for waiting.
No problem. Thank you. I went to school with Brendan Lee, so it was fun seeing that part too. Jeff Hickman, representing Governor Green. Thank you, Chair and Board, for having me tonight. I have 2 responses to inquiries that were made last month. Board Member Awong asked about what concerning the governor and ICE raids in schools, what we're doing about it. And so I asked, and if you watch the press releases coming out of the State Attorney General's office, she's all over what's happening. So I got this quote from them saying the State Attorney General is on watch and will continue to uphold the rule of law based on the 5th and 14th Amendments. So she takes those very seriously, and the Constitution, where everybody has a right to due process. So they're in between the lines. They're here to protect our kids. So they are staying on top of that. Good question. They appreciated somebody asking that. And then I got a question from the Vice Chair. I know she's not here, but she asked again, and some other people have also brought it up about the DOE rep. And I've been working this issue as well. DOE says that if I can take the questions, I'll get you the answers. But if there's many specific ones, then I can schedule a specific person to come. That just makes it easier for them to plan. So I'll continue to take DOE questions, but if you have a lot in a row, Chair, if you want to email me and let me know, and if it's very specific and I get enough time, I probably can get a DOE person to come stand and answer those specific questions. Like we had the principal from Pearl City, I think, 5-6 months ago, you asked very specific Pearl City high school questions. So,
Well, I would expect those questions to be in the August timeframe. Kids start to go to school and we'll be back to the bus issues again.
yes, traffic is beautiful right now. Just a kind of an update before I take questions. Memorial Day was yesterday, so the mayor had his ceremony at Punch Bowl. And the governor had his at Kaneohe, the Hawaii State Veterans Cemetery. And there's a lot of National Guard involvement, and that's where I work. So it was a beautiful event if you did not get to witness those. In his newsletter that we have shared with the board, and it's in the minutes, the link is 5-year anniversary of COVID, the support that the National Guard gave ending. And it's kind of important. Now it kind of ties into a press release that the Department of Health just released today about Zika. And there's 2 visitors that brought Zika, and they spent some time on the Haleiwa Waialua side. So nothing in Pearl City, but please just, if you go to the Department of Health website, just see what you can do to do. We had this before where we had to do a vector prevention, where we had to empty water from tires and people could do things at their home to eliminate and mitigate the risks of Zika and the mosquitoes possibly getting to their home. So please check out the Department of Health, the most recent press release and what you can do at home. At this time, I'll take any questions from the board or from the public.
Hey, board members, any questions for Mr. Hickman? Seeing none virtual.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Ed.
have a question. I've heard that students had to raise money for renting the venues for their graduation. Now maybe that's not true, but I think that the DOE should pay for reasonable expenses for graduation, whether it's the convention center or Stan Sheriff Center or a football field or whatever. So, not earth-shaking issue, but something to get some clarity about that.
I can ask about that. That's one we can find out more information on. Yes.
And I do appreciate Governor Green's efforts and trying to straighten out Washington.
I will pass that on.
Hey, Rodney.
Uh, So, on the news today, the CDC is no longer recommending COVID shots. So as far as Governor Green is concerned, we will still be recommending the necessary vaccinations here in Hawaii.
Yeah, what passed today was healthy kids don't need and pregnant women, I think, came out from the from Mr. Kennedy. And so I'll find out and I know it's not just Governor Green, but it'll be his Department of Health staff as well. I'll find out what their direction is on the topic. So just to confirm it for Hawaii, this is what the DOH would recommend.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
just for, I mean, if nobody else wants to, get behind it, I mean, at least we can, stay safe, because actually one of my coworkers, passed in the COVID section. So it was kind of hard for us down there. I mean, one day he was good as gold, and next day he was in the hospital, and good Lord didn't take him out till about 3 months later. So he suffered a lot. So, with all this ridiculous going on, even the measles going on in Texas, and, the absence of mind to say that, oh, no, it's not happening.
I will ask. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Hickman? Seeing none? Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, Board.
Take care. Okay, moving on to our state legislature. Any representatives for Senator Glenwood High? No? Oh, Casey. Casey, I'm sorry. Casey's always on. Sorry.
Can you see my screen? Okay. Good evening, Chair Varay and members of the Proceed Neighborhood Board. Casey Otter from the State DOT Highways Division. At last month's meeting, there was a concern about the coconut rhinoceros beetle infestation on some palm trees near the Kawamana Street overpass. Working with our landscape contractor, besides cutting down those dying palm trees near the Kawamana Street overpass, our contractor also removed dying palm trees near the Kawanoe Street overpass. At last month's meeting, there was a concern about no merge signs informing motorists the lane from the Pearl City on-ramp onto the H1 freeway eastbound was ending, so motorists must merge into the vehicles in the through lane on the left side. I reached out to our traffic branch and they are working on it, so report back at a future meeting. On May 12th, I received a call on 2 vehicles parked at Memorial Road as your approach home Marlow Street. Our maintenance crew called the number on the pilot, and the owner who was trying to sell his car immediately removed his car. But unfortunately, our maintenance crew and HPD could not reach the owner of the truck with the mattress. So last week, HPD tagged the truck as abandoned. I did a quick field investigation this morning and the truck was still there. So I'm working with our maintenance crew on following up with HPD to have them tow the abandoned truck away by the end of this week. On May 19, I received an email from Senator Alfonte about the overgrown vegetation along Kamehameha Highway and from Palimomi Street to Acacia Road. Our Deputy Director, Shishido, has directed our maintenance crew to quickly address the problem. Back in January of this year, Senator Alfonte forwarded me an email from a constituent expressing her safety concern at the intersection of Waiava Road and Ala-Ike Street near the Leeward Community College. Because the constituent is concerned with motorists from the college and the Skyline maintenance facilities are running the stop sign at the intersection while making a left turn from Ala-Ike Street onto Waiava Road. Our traffic branch will be restriping the faded pavement words and replacing the existing stop sign with a larger stop sign. The traffic branch normally do not install speed humps for stop conditions, but if the public really wants a speed hump to be installed before the stop sign, they can either ask their elected officials to email me and I can forward the request to our deputy director, or they can go to our HDOT website request for one. I'll put the link into the chat. Once your traffic branch receives the request, they will work with our administration to determine if the speed hump should be installed. And finally, our traffic branch is still working on with our design consultant on preparing the design package for the new signalized left turn lane at Koala Street, so we can open up the closed H2 R2 off-ramp from Farrington Highway to the transit center. I'm also waiting for a response from our traffic branch about the access to the transit station from the H2 freeway. And I'm also working with the traffic branch on the December request about converting the third lane of Kamehameha Highway going eastbound into another left turn lane onto Acacia Road. We would convert the median left turn lane to a U-turn only lane and have the second and third lane be left turn lanes onto Acacia Road. And a few meetings ago, a question was asked about our federal highways funding being cut under the Trump administration. Right now, we have not seen any funding cuts, but if you're following the news, the new proposed federal budget is looking at cutting back all green energy programs like our National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure funding that we use to construct electrical vehicle charging stations throughout the state, discontinuing the tax break for the public buying an electric car, and reducing our funding for our discretionary grant programs. I can report back at the future meeting if the funds is officially cut. This concludes my report. I can take any questions at this time.
All right, Casey, thank you for a huge laundry list of good input for Pearl City. Board members, any questions for Casey? Heidi, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I sent a request on the Honolulu 311 for some rubbish that was on the Ho'okiakia Street, which is below Momilani School. I forgot that that is a city, not a city road, that's a state road. And the request was forwarded over to the state. The state replied back to me that I should contact the school, DOE, to have that rubbish removed. It's not in front of the school. I don't really know where to go with that request. So I was hoping you could give me some.
If you can email me for the email, I can assist with that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then one other question or a note was that on the merge lane from the 201 on, or sorry, H1 onto 201 in Aiea, coming up to Red Hill, there are some pretty wicked potholes along that stretch in the far right lane. I've had the pleasure of encountering them a couple of times this last week and just wanted to draw that to your attention.
Okay, we'll investigate that.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah, Casey, hey, thanks for all the work with the proposals. Yeah, and I do, Acacia Road, I do think that you're gonna have to eliminate one left turn lane into Home Depot. So the other two is gonna, so that they can go up Acacia Road. Anyway, on the transit center, the banana patch over there, as I was, and it's been for the last couple, 3 weeks, as I was entering the H1 going westbound, there seems to be like there's some residents over there or somebody owns that land. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's a gate with some cars inside there and a tent. So I was wondering if somebody or Richard Lee still owns that land over there. If you can check on that.
Okay.
Also too, one of my constituents was asking that if the H2 on-ramp from Paspro City Industrial Area going up to Mililani, the White Peel, he suggested that either you put in a bigger yield sign for the freeway traffic or extend the lane there so they can merge safely. He said the folks coming on to merge from Kamehameha Highway were just, they were unattentive to the other cars on the freeway. So if you guys can look at that, whether you can extend that merge, I know I've encountered it a few times. So other than that, we're good to go.
All right.
Okay,
sure.
Guy?
Casey.
Yes.
So in reference to what Heidi was mentioning, when you're going eastbound from
Oh, I can't hear you. Lost you there.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now okay, yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow, weird.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so when you go in H1 eastbound, as Heidi had mentioned, that on-ramp, and she said the far right lane, there's some big potholes, right? The far left lane, almost parallel to that. I think I mentioned to you about this about a month ago or so, that there's some really big potholes on the far left also, the fast lane, the far left lane.
Okay.
So that, yeah, the entire area, as well as that prior to that Gulick overpass, that roundabout when you have let's see, not sure what street that is, the one that's right before Bishop Museum eastbound, that big overpass. You have that roundabout, yeah, when you're coming down Licky Licky, that you have to go about in order to get onto the H1 eastbound. Yeah, right there, that right under that overpass with that unnamed street. There's some really bad humps. So if you're in a far right lane, you hit that thing at about 45, 50 miles an hour, your car will feel it.
So you're gonna go on the H1 eastbound from Licky
From
Licky
Licky Licky.
coming down Licky Licky. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, pretty treacherous. People try to avoid that, so they kind of merge to the middle lane. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing all construction work over there, so I'm kind of surprised that they cannot see that pretty bumpy stretch right there.
Okay, we'll investigate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Guy. Any other questions for Casey? Okay, seeing none. Casey, thank you very much. And we'll be in recess the month of June.
Okay, thank you.
You get a break from us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Let's get Senator Brandon Elefante up here. And thank you, sir, for being so patient with us, trying to get moving on here. But we always look forward to what you have for us.
Great evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, and members of the public. You do have my written report, and many of you probably got this in your mailboxes, as this is our end of session newsletter. There are a few extra copies on the table. Taylor Sales from my staff is online, my committee clerk, and she'll be putting the link to what I'll be talking about here today during my report, the newsletter, and then a few press releases. I do want to just highlight a few things on the newsletter. I won't go into it because there's a lot of details there, so you can go through it during your time. But we do have a survey that's on the back, and it's just a QR code. And so if you scan it, it goes directly to our survey. If you are not able to scan it, please let us know. You can email me, and then we can give you a digital version or a hard copy if you wish. So please feel free to fill that out, and then at our next time when we collect the results, and we can have basically the results from that survey. So the newsletter just highlights a few things that we've accomplished this past legislative session and some key interests that I had, and then it kind of goes on into more detail on other things. And then on the back, there's also a list of helpful numbers. You also have 3 individual handouts. These were press releases from the Senate majority. First, I want to highlight, I know this has been top of mind. This has been a priority for the Committee on Public Safety, which is the committee I chair, having to deal with illegal fireworks. So we did pass a number of measures as it relates to illegal fireworks, extending the task force, the sunset date, providing funding, providing investigators. Representative Chun had a bill with the use of drones. So thank you, Rep. Chun, for that. And thank you to my colleagues for supporting that, including, Rep. LaChica and Senator Aquino and Senator Wakai and all those and Rep. Takayama. These are very important measures. So it highlights, the main bills. Has yet to be signed by the governor. So we're awaiting that. And then, Chair, I know you're interested in that. So we'll let you know at the appropriate time. And then also on one of the press releases is major bills that the Public Safety Committee did pass. So one of them had to do with the Office of the Fire Marshal, which will now be in the Department of Law Enforcement, and then also positions for that. Also veteran cemeteries is how they're managed. We also have Department of Corrections and IDs for inmates coming out of incarceration. and then also benefits, health benefits and vision coverage for the Hawaii National Guard, I should say. And then also we looked at other things as it relates to our prison system, law enforcement, and military affairs. So you can read about that. And then lastly is a list of capital improvement projects for the district. So I'm happy to report that Rep. Takayama and I were able to secure $1 million for planning and design. That money will go to the Department of Transportation for planning and design for an emergency access route for the residents up in Palisades. And then hopefully from what we can gather from that design, it's going to require a lot more in terms of funding and costs as to what would be the best appropriate avenue going forward. So that's that on these items that you have in front of you and also the links online. I'd like to address Board Member Weber's question on Ho'okeke Street right in front of Momilani. That is a state road. There's a lot of back and forth that goes between different agencies, but I'll work with Rep. Takayama to figure out how we can get remove some of that items. We've been attempting for a while to transfer over that road to the city. However, we've been unsuccessful with that. So in the meantime, it's still under state jurisdiction. So we definitely can follow up on that. And then lastly, 2 shout outs. First, I want to just acknowledge Mr. Hickman. I know he left for the day, but he put on a fabulous event that Rep. LaChica and I attended for Memorial Day at the State Veterans Cemetery. He organized all that program, and he's one of our own from Pro City. So a big hand to, Jeff for putting on that Memorial Day program. And then finally, to you, Chair, for all your accolades as well. I know you're recognizing a lot of people here, but really all your work with Sunset Memorial Park and the advocacy for that, getting in that gate and all the efforts that you've done for that, and also the Peace Bell that you have done at Blaisdell Park. Although I don't represent that area, I used to have that area, but really thank you, Chair, to your team of volunteers, and thank you to this board for your engagement. With that, congratulations to all those being newly elected. We welcome, I see some new faces in the audience, to our board members elect as you join this board in the coming months. That concludes my report. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Elefante, thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words as well. Of course, it's a team effort, and we're so privileged that we've got our legislators, our city council, all working very close together for Pearl City. And with Representative Chun and LaChica, again, thank you. And I got to say big thanks to Senator Wakai and Aquino, and also Greg Takayama. Just all of you are so good to work with. You listen, and we don't micromanage you to say, okay, you got to go do this and that. Nope, you take a look at it, and you know your turf. You know what's going to make it, and you know what's not going to make it. And you did fantastic session this year. I can't believe all the things that went up that got approved, and all related to issues with all our residents. Fireworks, probably one of the biggest. I'd like to see more with homeless, but that's cities working at right now with state. And how fast you guys moved on the emergency access road for Pacific Palisades. But again, I can't thank you guys enough. It's just, it's just a model situation, and I hope that other boards can work very close with their legislators as well. Board members, you got any questions for Senator Elefante? Okay. Guy, go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to Senator Elefante for hosting a couple of people from a sister club in the Lions Club for hosting them at the state capitol, and they got to tour the Senate side as well as the House Rep side with the aid of Representative Cory Chun, and they got to see the Lieutenant Governor as well as the Governor's office. The reason why I mentioned this too is because a couple of the members from Japan were actual, they serve on the Legislative Committee as well as a Senate Committee in Japan too. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So they were very impressed with you allowing them to tour the state capitol. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Board Member Inouye and Lion Inouye. Thank you to Rep. Chun, Dustin, and Taylor and Jan from my staff for hosting the sister Lions from Nagasaki.
All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, see you none. Have a great weekend. We get a break next month.
Yes, happy summer.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, moving on, for Senator Henry Aquino. And we've got his representative here.
Aloha, Chair Viray, board members, Nathaniel Issa, representing Senator Aquino this evening. I know normally I would stand by my reports, as you guys are used to me, but I want to talk about two things. The first one I want to talk about is last week, Wednesday, the 21st, we had the Pearl City IEA community meeting. It was basically, we had guest host, UH President Wendy Hensel, UH Football Associate Head Coach, Chris Brown. We also had Timmy Chang, who is the UH Head Football Coach, and lastly, we had James Robinson, who is the UH Women's Water Polo Coach. It was a very insightful meeting. The president got to talk about what her plans were, and after the meeting, we also had a question and answer session. So that was very nice. The second thing I want to talk about is, hold on a second. So the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations are having a summer youth employment program. The program starts from the 2nd of June and ends on August the 14th, 2025. Minimum requirements, you have to be 16 to 18 or older. You have to have a current public high school ID with a 2.0 GPA or higher. And lastly, you have to have a parent or guardian with you. It's island-wide, Oahu, Maui, Hawaii Islands, and Kauai. So you can check online to see for more information. And if you do have any questions, please let me know.
Nate, first of all, I want to thank you for taking time to come up to the microphone instead of just passing us the read ahead. But thank you so much. And yeah, Senator Aquino and also with Senator Elefante and Greg Takayama was there, Corey Chun, up to that town hall meeting. I thought it was really great. I never got a chance to really meet Timmy Chang that in person, and it was nice talking with him. But there were two takeaways out of that I brought back, and we are going to work it from this board. UH is short $80 million. Got to find that money. Got to help them out. The federal money's being taken away. But number two, Dan, you were up there in the lobby asking those questions, and Heidi, proud of both of you engaging our officials. But we have got to come up with funds to build a swimming pool at Pearl City High School. We will do it. And we're going to find those funds. So, but any questions for Senator Aquino's office?
No questions, but yeah, that community meeting was really was good, and the President Hensel gave some important information there about they're going to be more proactive about preventing college dropouts. So I think that's a huge thing, potential. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, Greg Takayama's office. Okay, Greg couldn't make it tonight. And we've got Representative Corey Chun. Welcome.
Hey, good evening, board members of Pearl City Community. Corey Chun on behalf of the State House. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the 2025 graduating class of Pearl City High School, and especially a shout out to board member Takeuchi, whose son actually served as the commencement valedictorian speaker, which is such an honor. So, just it was a great speech, and he did an awesome job, and I just wanted to, highlight that for the board. You have my report. So I usually talk about Kapuna Caucus or some of these other things, but what I really want to highlight tonight was a measure that, in my role as the vice chair of the Committee on Consumer Protection and Commerce, was one of the major issues that we were trying to tackle, which is condominium insurance. So it's on the third page of my report, but it's kind of like big paragraph, but I just want to kind of just go through it to see what we kind of came up with. And just to kind of clarify some things so people understand what it does and it doesn't do. So the first thing is that we needed to somehow insure the uninsurable, because that's what one of the issues were, that some of these condominiums could just not get insurance. So what we ended up doing was expanding the power of the Hawaii Property Insurance Association. So this is actually an organization that was set up to provide insurance for the Big Island homes in lava zones, very high risk. So just so the public knows, it's not going to be cheaper, but it will be an option for those condominiums that cannot, for whatever reason, because they're in a high risk, cannot get insurance at all. So the purpose for that is to stabilize the insurance market. The second big piece of that is the condominium loan program, which will be run by the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. So what this program is meant to do is, when it comes to insurance, there's so many variables and unknowns. So what we kind of focused on was the things that are not variables, right? So when it comes to maintenance, or it comes to hardening your structures, those are things that condominium properties can do that will reduce their risk. So this is what the program is designed to do, is to give basically very low or no interest loans so that condominium associations can go and take those deferred maintenance. And by doing that, the idea is that by reinforcing their structures and taking care of the things that maybe were deferred for years, that they can lower their rates by showing insurers that they're taking steps to lessen the risk on their properties. And so, that's kind of like in a nutshell what it is. We use general obligation bonds. It's going to be repaid. So these are loans, even though they're very low and low interest loans. And that was sort of the idea this year, to just try to stabilize the market. There are other folks who wanted us to go further, but it's just a really hard sell to use taxpayer dollars to help out condominiums that maybe didn't take the necessary steps in the past to use reserves to build up reserves. And so, there was a fairness issue. So this is kind of like what we settled on, but just wanted everyone to know that that's what the bill does. And that's what we were trying to do, and just really trying to stabilize the market until we get to a point where rates will come down, because as we're seeing, rates are coming down a little bit. And so hopefully this will kind of bridge that gap until the rates can come down and be more affordable for the condominium associations. And then, I want to highlight a resolution, ACR 33, because it's been a project, an idea of Chair Verre for a long time. It's something that, I always thought was a great idea, but to relocate the Pearl City Post Office to the the Pearl City Peninsula. And we know that that's just a crazy intersection, and that property, even just getting to the post office is just really kind of a problem for people going in and out of that area. So it makes a lot of sense. It's federal property, so we can't just, take it and force them to move. But it's something that, as long as we keep thinking about it and talking about it and asking, one of these days we'll finally get it done. And so, it's getting kind of late. So just, Kekuni's not here to time me. I don't know if I went over 3 minutes, but I'll just stand on the rest of my report and take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
We will have Cooney's replacement. Yeah, thank you, Representative Chun. And the condominium insurance issues continue on, and I'm hoping those rates will come down for many of our homeowners, as the senior citizens, they're the ones that are having difficulty.
Yeah.
And especially when you got, when you have your mortgage payment, and then you've got a $1,200 a month maintenance fee, and the next year it's not going down, so I'm hoping that those boards will do their due diligence. There are things you talked about, hardening. Key thing is being prepared for hurricane and disaster preparedness. And I've got good examples of what I've done with our housing area in Waiau. But other than that, questions for our representative? Virtual? Okay, Nate?
Yes, I'd just like to thank Rep. Chun for the kind words recognizing my son. Thank you, Rep. Chun.
Yeah, no problem.
right, well done, Nate. All right, okay, Guy, come on.
Rep. Chun, thank you very much for being our guide at the state capitol.
Welcome.
All winners. All right, thank you very much.
All right, good evening.
Okay, and lastly, all the way from Mililani, we've got Representative Trish LaChica, and thank you for coming in person.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Pearl City Neighborhood Board, Representative Trish LaChica. I represent District 37, which includes Mililani, Waipio, Waialva, which includes this portion. So in my report, you'll find some of the highlights, which include some capital improvement. Highlights include improvements between along Kamehameha Highway between Mililani and Pearl City. So resurfacing, destination signs, bike and pedestrian connections too, and pedestrian safety. And it will take a lot of time, and I'll explain later, but those will go online in the next few years. We also have wanted to thank you all for all of your advocacy and your commitment to a lot of the bills and issues that was very important to me this session. I put them here. The first one I wanted to highlight, which passed this session, is House Bill 862. It's our school bus bill. So great news is it's scheduled to be signed by the governor this Friday, along with the free school meals bill and a recognizing surfing as an interscholastic sport. It'll be held at Washington Place. And as the introducer for House Bill 862, they are allowing me 4 guests. So I would like to invite one representative from the Pearl City Neighborhood Board to please come join me at the bill signing ceremony on Friday. So I'll follow up with you, Chair, if that would be possible. I would be honored to have one of you as one of the strongest champions for this bill join me at the event on Friday. It'll be at 12 noon, I believe. The next one is House Bill 1231, which establishes the largest dedicated source of funding for safe routes to school. So this will include all of the infrastructure improvements such as crosswalks, rapid flashing beacons, anything that improves roadway improvements in high-risk areas and pedestrian areas surrounding a school area. And then access to developing more preschool classrooms, through Lieutenant Governor's initiative, but as well as the next bill, House Bill 329, as well as funding to kickstart and pilot the first teacher workforce housing project in Mililani. So that's moving on, it's moving forward. And then Senator Kidan introduced free school meals, but in my role, I was able to really help get this through, but was really happy that we're able to, beginning next school year, students on reduced price lunch will receive school meals for free. And the following year after that, the program will be expanded to all families earning up to 300% of the federal poverty level. So that's about, for a family of 4, earning up to $110,000. So at least that's something from their cost of living that, working families won't have to worry about. And then here's just, I wanted to highlight in May 1st, we did host a community safety and transportation talk. Sorry, so thank you to Member Weber and Member Smith for attending, representing your board. But we had Director Sniffen, as well as the City and County Transportation Services, Kelly Akasaki, Renee Espiao, and several other. Director of the new Department of Law Enforcement was there highlighting a lot of the legislation. Senator Elefante mentioned on fireworks enforcement was there as well. And then he mentioned, I've been working with them over the months, but these are just some of the roadway safety improvements coming to our district that will really improve. As you know, it's just, we have had so much more pedestrian fatalities and like roadway fatalities this year. I don't know if it's, last count was 54, which was more than what we had the previous year. And then that's it. The last is just a report on, we did a crackdown similar to what you had here when you did illegal racing. So we had something similar on Kamehameha Highway. And then I worked with the HPD to do a crackdown in Kamehameha Highway, Meheula Parkway. But that concludes my report, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, great update, and what an active session, huh?
It's very, very,
But I'll tell you what, getting that bus bill through, taking care of our keiki, full steam ahead. That's what it was. And everything went into place. And thanks for everybody working it. Thank you for the invite. The Red Cross, unfortunately, has got me on Friday. I got an engagement with them because I'm trying to help with the CERT program for Pearl City, and I wipe out. But anyway, I'll see what our board members find out who's available that can represent us. We'll have somebody there. Board members, any questions for our representative? Go ahead, Heidi.
Good question. But first of all, I just wanted to commend you on your talk story. It was an amazing event. You ran that like the pro that you are, and I learned a lot, and I really just appreciated all the speakers that you had and everything that you did there. I had a question about the school bus options. I'm trying desperately to get swim lessons at schools, but we don't have a whole lot of schools that are, I mean, Pearl City, we have 2 schools that are located adjacent to swimming pools, but we have 8 elementary schools in Pearl City. The other 6 would have to have busing to get to a pool for this type of swim lesson. Is it possible, I don't know if it's covered under the bus options, but could they potentially use the city bus as a way under this bill? Or does it have to be like a sanctioned vehicle?
for specific school activities, right now, it's not, it's already part of the administrative rules under the DOE, but each school, based on their each individual budget, they have the option to purchase through individual menus their own 15-passenger school bus. So a high school, for example, like Mililani High School, they purchased 2 15-passenger school buses, and those buses don't even require a CDL license to drive. So somebody from staff, as long as they get proper safety training from DOT, can use that. And then the elementary schools in our district, you know, kind of reserve the buses also for special activities, after school activities. That's an option. So they just got those buses last year. That's currently in administrative rules, but you need to work with the administration to see if that's currently in their budget or if they can advocate for DOE to get that in their budget in the next school year. For this one, this would include, it's only specific to student transportation to and from school. I'd have to ask if it includes after school activities. But what this does do, it would open up the market for those who are drivers of motor coaches or minivans or shuttles. So DOE actually had a small press conference. They said, if you're in the business of wanting to, you know, of loving our kids and wanting to be part of the solution, like, we want to do business with you. So they're kind of saying, like, we're kind of rethinking how they're doing their contract. So I'm hoping beyond just the current buses that we'll see, we'll also get to see maybe some other folks to enter the market and offer student transportation services. But there is a process to get certified, get the safety, but it won't require a yellow bus to drive them to, big yellow bus to drive them to and from school.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Chair.
Okay, moving on to congressional officials. Mr. Nestor Garcia, how are you?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, can you hear me? Coming
We
to
got
you
you.
virtually. Yes,
A little
thank you,
bit
sir.
muffled.
I want to congratulate those who are continuing to represent the Pearl City community and those who had their chance to represent the community. I saw the results of the neighborhood board elections. Congratulations anyway for all that have served. So Chairman, you might have gotten a copy of our neighborhood board report in the mail. I think I sent it to all the chairs last week. I did try to put a copy of the board on the chat, but I seem to be having problems putting that link on the chat. Anyway, just to save time, I wanted to just point to at least one item on the second quarter neighborhood board report, and that is, while a lot of attention has been focused on what's been happening in Washington, D.C., and and with the president, members of Congress are also having to want to focus on dealing with specific concerns relative to their constituents. And we call this casework in our office, and not named after the congressman, by the way. But this is specific concerns that people call us to see if they can work out a problem for them, whether or not it's something to do with their Social Security or their taxes, something to do with their retirement with the Office of Personnel Management. These kinds of specific concerns, our office, especially here in Honolulu, we deal with those casework items. And so the congressman want to let you know that for the first quarter of this year, the first 3 months, we handled more than 400 of these kinds of cases for his constituents. So it's an important thing that members of Congress do while they're also busy dealing with the concerns and the issues that are so-called big picture for the country, for the world, for our state. Speaking of his responsibilities on Capitol Hill, as a member of the House Appropriations Committee, he sits on 2 key subcommittees, that's Defense and Homeland Security. Now, for the last couple, 2-3 weeks, he's been sitting in on hearings in the Appropriations Committee, talking about funding levels and the requests that come from the Trump administration and his various department officials funding for their next fiscal year that begins in October. So that's been one of the balls that he's been dealing with as he's juggling. The other one was the one that just left the House recently, referred to as the reconciliation measure, or what the president calls his big, beautiful bill, which is now in the Senate for its consideration. And that will set priorities for programs and for taxes. But it's not just money issues that are in that measure. There's a block of other kinds of items of interest. I especially shared one item with my friends in the state legislature. In that reconciliation measure is a provision that would ban the states from regulating artificial intelligence. So it's just one of these provisions that got inserted into the measure, along with some others. So that's a measure that bears watching, obviously, as the Senate considers it. Also, one other item, and this is something that we just issued a press release this afternoon. This is a law that has to be passed every year. This is the National Defense Authorization Act. This is the federal law that sets programs and policies for the Defense Department. And so Congressman outlined 5 key issues in the NDAA of relative importance to Hawaii and to the Indo-Pacific. I just put out a press release on that. You can actually see it for yourself when you have the time, and on his website, case.house.gov, under the tab press releases, and you can see today's press release on the National Defense Authorization Act. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I am following, again, as you have been briefing me about the progress of the efforts, as was raised again tonight, on the proposal to try and see what we can do to relocate the post office, which is a federal jurisdiction, out of Pro City to some other location that'll be amenable to traffic. And of course, Mr. Chairman, I did hear your resolution. I did listen to that resolution you just passed in your board tonight. There are a couple of other items that we've discussed previously that relative to water recreation at Blaisdell Park. And of course, the ball fields that you'd like to see established on federal property. So we'll be following that as you progress with those issues with the relative federal agencies. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, open to any questions you might have.
Yeah, Nestor, thank you so much for the updates, and please give our regards there to Congressman Case. And I tell you, I really appreciate what he's done in Congress, and also how he works on both sides. But I'll probably come to you before July, because I think the next step, now that we have a resolution approved through the state legislature for the Pearl City Post Office proposed move, is to officially have a letter from the Pearl City Neighborhood Board to Congressman Case and the Postmaster General to ask that we continue on. So, board members, any questions for Mr. Garcia? Hey, seeing none. Esther, thank you so much. But Guy, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, Mr. Yeah, I remember a while back, when we had the Lahaina wildfire, right, which was
Mm.
a pretty, devastating to say the least, as well as a few months ago, we had a pretty big fire up in the Mililani, Wahiawa area that took several days to get rid of, so to say. And at that time, I had brought up the fact that why Hawaii cannot become a model for an island state to have a wildfire resilient type of situation and buffer where we have a dedicated DC-10 or C-130 based in Hawaii. And so I did some research in that, and then it will require a initiation at the Congress level, actually, that Hawaii put in for a request to the Congress to get that kind of infrastructure here in Hawaii. Only because that Pohakuloa area too, when they removing the bomb ordinance like that, if one of those things ignites like that, there's a great potential for a wildfire to occur there. And how many thousands and thousands of acres of foliage they got up there, so pretty devastating. I further researched it and found that in order to get a tanker here, if it comes through either the DoD side or the FEMA side or the U.S. Forestry side, it takes approximately 8 to 12 hours to get a tanker here. Just for the aircraft to fly here is about 5 to 6 hours, but to load it up is, like act of God because of the thousands of gallons of water it carries. I think is in upwards of between 5 to 9,000 gallons, depending on the type of aircraft. So I was kind of wondering if we can push for such research so that eventually we can entertain that type of fire resiliency here in Hawaii.
Yeah, good suggestion, Board Member Inoue. I don't know,
Yeah, well, I
Chairman
brought this up.
Beret, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I brought this up a couple months ago, and then
Okay.
I remember HFD says, well, maybe not at this time. And thinking, it's funny he mentioned that because I don't know how many days it took those itty bitty helicopters to go out there and put out the fires. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good suggestion, Board Member Inoue. Maybe I can work with Chairman Beret or even our state and even, county lawmakers, our leaders there. If we can all work together and then
Right.
all join hands together and ask
Yeah.
not just the congressman, the congressional delegation, that it's something
Yeah.
that we should be able to bring up with them and see what they say.
Okay.
Good point, though.
Yeah. I put up a several page outline. So
Okay.
even in the outline format, it is several pages in terms
Okay.
of Department of Defense, the U.S. Forestry, the governor, as well as the Congress level like that. So
Okay.
can I get your email in the chat, and I'll send the
Okay.
document over to you.
Very good. Thank you. I'll do that too, Board Member Inoue.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys. You are spot on. We definitely have a requirement for a tanker to be positioned here in Hawaii.
Well, the interesting thing about the let's see, the discussion there was that Hawaii could become a model for an island state wildfire resilient program. I thought that was kind of interesting when they stated island state,
Well, I'll tell
And
you,
then,
I monitored that fire off Mililani and how long it was taking. And when I saw the helicopters dropping, and of course, on the other hand, it sure seemed like we could have had a lot more helicopters out there from the military. I was a little disappointed about that. But the other thing is, we had tanker. It would have been out in no time.
there are probably 2 drops, and that was it.
Yeah, but we can't. We got to have this one. So we'll work this.
Okay.
We'll put this in July
Okay.
on the list. So other than that,
All right.
Esther, thank you so much. And okay, and Donald Sakamoto, you got something there from Kaneohe?
Yeah, thank you, Nestor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Chair. Chair, thank you. Donald Sakamoto, Nestor. Donald Sakamoto, Citizens for Fair ED, right? I deal with Skyline, the bus and handy van. I sent you an email regarding the city auditor's report of the Skyline, and there was violation on ADA for sidewalks outside the rail stations with cracks, potholes, bites. Have you expressed my concerns to Congressman Case about this? Because this is ADA law. and the ADA law will be celebrating 35 years on July 26th this year. So I just want to know if you had a chance to talk to Congressman Kesa about this, because there is ADA money being supplied to the county and the state to address
Right.
ADA concern. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Donald. I appreciate it, and I did see the link and the email. I first also wanted to have an opportunity to talk to the city to get their side of the story as well. I couldn't quite hear what the DTS director was saying during that meeting that you shared with me. So I wanted to make clear exactly what it is that he wanted to try to, explain his position. And I also want to talk to the people that actually I think he's referring to in his testimony, not so much DTS, but maybe facility maintenance, or somebody that's in charge of the sidewalks and the apron that surrounds the station in question, and see what, if anything, is being done to address your concerns.
I appreciate it, Nestor. Thank you.
All right, Donald, take care. Nestor, I think that's all we got right now, but thank you so much. And again, reminder, we'll be in recess next month.
Thank you, sir.
All right, moving on to Leeward Community College. We got Chancellor Carlos Penaloza. Welcome.
Aloha, aloha, Chair, members of the board, and members of the Pearl City community. I'll try to be brief in my remarks. I just want to share that we also celebrated recently our commencement ceremony, and I'll say that we had a little over 1,000 students eligible to walk in our commencement ceremony. It was a rainy Friday, so we had a little over 300. But some important components of our graduation, we had 55 early college graduates. So those are high school students graduating from college before high school. That's the largest early college class we've had to date. And so we celebrated quite nicely that. We also celebrated that for that evening, the rail was very well used. I used the rail. I actually parked at Halava. I don't know if any of you have gotten stuck in that traffic from our commencement ceremonies. With rail, we were in and out, and many people were using it. That was very exciting to see. We're also getting ready to start our summer semester. Our enrollment is has peaked for the summer because we're running a summer tuition pilot, which is a reduced tuition rate for summer classes. We want to get, high school students that, typically will hang out during the summer and they may not come in the fall. And so try to capture some of those students, as President Hensel has been sharing. We're trying to find every pocket where students tend to, leak through the pipe. The other thing that I wanted to share, and I know that I've shared with some of the members of the board, is that we are offering the CDL training for trucks as well as passenger buses. And right now, through a partnership with Good Jobs Hawaii, which is for the community colleges at the state level, that tuition is heavily subsidized, if not completely subsidized. We are trying to get a lot of students enrolled, a lot of participation there, because there is a major demand for bus drivers and truck drivers. So we're trying to address that through that. I will post a link on the chat in just a little bit on how to access information on Good Jobs Hawaii. It doesn't stop with just CDL training. It covers healthcare, technology, creative media, and other areas where there is major workforce demands in the state. And then I also wanted to make comment. President Hensel has been sharing a lot of the overall impacts to the university on the grants that have been terminated. Nestor just shared a little bit on the reconciliation measure. One of the important things that we may be looking at if that budget reconciliation is to pass is that our financial aid model will change drastically. The new definition of a full-time student is someone taking 15 credits or more. And the new definition of part-time students is students taking 7.5 credits or more. For community colleges, that is a major concern because the majority of our students are part-time. We're estimating that about 60% of our students would just not be eligible for financial aid should that measure pass. And so that's going to be yet another impact that we're going to have to weather should it pass. And the last thing that I'll share, and just to put it in your calendars as both if you would like to participate, but also considerations for parking, is that Leeward is the next Mega Bond site, which is going to happen on Saturday, September 13th. And that's from 4 to 9 p.m. Folks are going to have to use rail or mass transit to get in and out. But I wanted to just share that with you because that has been confirmed. And so with that, I'll stop and I'm happy to answer questions.
Well, thank you, Chancellor. Thank you for the update, and I apologize I couldn't make it to the commencement ceremony. Board members, any questions? Okay, virtual, any questions? Okay, seeing none. Well, thank you for all the updates, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Ms. Vicky Bowie for Pearl City Library.
Sorry, my phone. Good evening, everyone. So first off, I just want to say that we're going to be closed on June 11, Wednesday, in observance of Kamehameha Day. And my big announcement is that we're going to be doing our annual summer reading challenge this starting in June 1st up until the end of July. And this year the theme is Mele. So we really would love to see everyone register. To register, you can download the Beanstack app or call a library to register for you. We give out rewards just for reading, and our biggest prize is always the 4 round-trip tickets with Alaska Airlines. We have a lot of other programs that we're offering to celebrate our summer reading challenge. If you're interested, please come to the library to pick up a calendar, or you can check out our website, www.librarieshawaii.org, for more information. And that's my report.
All right, Vicky, thank you very much. Any questions? Go ahead there, Rodney.
Yeah, hi, Peggy. Evening. I always go past the library once in a while, I'll step in, but it has always been a wonderment why folks don't have a better parking lot with a solar panel roof on it. Is there any plans for something like this to happen later on in the future?
Yeah, there is. Currently, we're going to have a renovation that's coming up. I don't have firm dates on that yet, but one of the plans is to have parking with the solar panels.
Terrific.
Okay, Guy, got a question?
Oh yeah, in regards to the board members' comment just now, yeah, I think not less than 25 million was appropriated for the new building facility as well as a parking facility, and the parking is actually going to be larger than what they currently have now too. So yeah, and also too that building renovation is not just for the sake of solar and you know being environmentally friendly, but there's other aspects that is going to be built into the building so that is actually eco-friendly too, like using trade winds, etc., like that to cool down versus just yeah. So with that said, Vicky, if you can provide us with a little bit an update as to how proceedings are going through the new update renovations as well as a new facility and parking.
So right now, waiting for the permit to get approved before I know that the bid was awarded. We don't have a date yet for the closure because we still are waiting for the permit approval. But we're hopeful that it will move along pretty soon.
Yeah, I think board members will always they're going to be kind of astonished as to what it's going to look like.
I have seen the plans. Maybe one day I'll give a report on that, but for now it's still too early. This project might take a few years to build.
Correct.
Okay, that's great news for the new improvements for the library and also solar integration. Okay, any other questions for Vicky? Vicky, thanks for staying up late for us.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
moving on board of water supply. Arlen, are you on? Don't see Arlen. Okay, we're gonna move on. Tony, what do you got for us for Pearl City community events?
No updates as of today.
Okay, moving on to our minutes. All board members, you got a chance to review the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tony, do I have a second? Any changes, discussion? Hear none? Okay, we'll consider them approved. Thank you. Okay, moving on, announcements. Just to let everybody know, this Saturday at 7 o'clock, we have a community cleanup of Sunset Memorial Park Cemetery. Anybody that has time available, please come out and join us. And we'll continue to groom the cemetery. It's looking good. It was this last Saturday, we had the VFW and Lions come out to help place flags on all the veterans' graves. There's one gravesite that's from the Spanish-American War. So, okay. The Pearl City Neighborhood Board 21 next board meeting will be in July, and we'll be bringing on our new board member. No, July. Yes, no, June, we're not. We're recess. So July, we start our new term, our new board members, and all of us will have to go through raising our hand to take the oath and also be familiar with the Sunshine Law. I also will probably, with our vice chair, hold some training for the new members and any of the board members that would like to attend. We'll probably do this all virtual. It'll be short, sweet, but all to the point. But anyway, our next meeting will be at Momilani Community Center. And other than that, anybody got any last minute? Okay, we'll consider this meeting adjourned, and thank you all for staying and showing up.
Happy